Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to the fall campaign for Arkham Horror, the card game. Sunday when we ran Return to the Witching Hour, Jacqueline and Mandy picked up 7 experience, and Mandy identified the strange solution. Most importantly, however, no trauma right off the bat. I was getting nervous for a minute there toward the end of the scenario, but Jacqueline managed to give Annette the slip with plenty of help from Mandy. Anyway, if you're a regular viewer of these campaigns, you know the drill by now. For those of you who don't, we're going to upgrade our ladies with that 7 experience, and then we're going to have the tarot reading for the next scenario. Before we jump down and meet and spend some time with Jacqueline, though, as the lead investigator, I do want to thank everybody for getting me to 100 subscribers on the channel. Whether you've given me a subscription, whether you've given me one of my videos a thumbs up, or if you've even just given a video a view, thank you for giving my content a chance over those first 100 subscribers. Anyway, now let's jump into upgrades, and we'll start off as the lead investigator from the last scenario with Jacqueline. Hello, Jacqueline. The first upgrade I'm going to make is something that I'm not usually a big fan of. So, I'm not usually a big fan of effects that seal tokens, especially bad tokens, unless I'm able to take the effect out of the bag completely. But that's very hard to do, usually, because there tend to be a lot of bad symbols in the Chaos bag. But thanks to Jacqueline's special ability, I think she comes the closest to being able to take a bad symbol completely out of the bag. Where the way she can do that is she pulls one token out on the Cothonian stone to seal it, and then she'll cancel the other one when it comes out of the bag on a later test. To that end, I usually include the Cothonian stone Stygian Waymark level 0 when I need something to cut early in a campaign, usually on the first round of upgrades, but in this case I'm actually going to upgrade it to level 3. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Cothonian stone level 3. So it's now a 2 cost to play, and we get an additional will icon on commit. Again, we seal a bad symbol except for a tentacle, uses 3 charges. If the Cothonian stone has no charges, return it to your hand. On a forced, after you reveal a tentacle symbol during a skill test, remove 1 charge from the Cothonian stone. So this essentially gives us 3 tentacles, although it'll give us a lot more than that with Jacqueline, because we have her special ability that we can use. So that upgrade's done. Next up, we made this upgrade during the intro video for the campaign, but we're going to take your other clairvoyance level 0 up to level 3. So as a reminder, clairvoyance now adds a will icon as well on commit. Still the same 3 charges. We spend a charge to investigate using will instead of lore, plus 2 will and discover 1 additional clue if you succeed. And if you pull a good symbol, an elder sign, a +1, or a 0, you take 1 horror. Jacqueline's able to deal with that very nicely with 9 sanity on her investigator sheet. And then the last upgrade is actually going to be from one of her free resource cards. So we're going to give her a pretty strong skill, and actually a second copy of that strong skill, as we upgrade one of her copies of Forbidden Knowledge to Occult Theory. I was getting ready to commit this to one of Jacqueline's last tests in the scenario, but decided against it and ultimately didn't need it. Still, it's a fairly strong skill, especially when we look at Jacqueline's stat line. So let's go ahead and refresh our memory on Occult Theory. So while it's in your hand or committed to a skill test, it gains will icons equal to your lore, and lore icons equal to your will. So it would be 3 will icons or 5 lore. So we'll go ahead and get those upgraded. So that's the last upgrade for Jacqueline's sleeve. I'll go ahead and give her deck a quick shuffle. Wait. Okay, yeah, she does have 1 charisma. Never mind. Just making sure I've got that straight. And as always, I'll get the deck lists upgraded before the video goes up. And then the links to the deck lists, as always, will be in the description down below. But anyway, that will do it for Jacqueline. Now let's go say hello to Mandy. Hello, Mandy. The theme of your upgrades, similar to Jacqueline before we started the fall campaign, is strengthening what you already have. Now, identifying the solution does open us up to some powerful upgrades, and we're going to take advantage of that. All of the upgrades for Strange Solution cost 4 experience, and there were 2 in particular I was torn between. The 2 I was torn between were either upgrading to evading with a base agility of 6 or fighting with a base combat of 6. But ultimately, I'm going to go with fighting with a base skill of 6. As we saw in the last scenario, a base of agility 3 isn't completely hopeless, it's just mostly hopeless. Whereas a fight with a base of 1, is typically good either for a laugh when Mandy has to fight something off, or Mandy screaming out for Jacqueline to help. So let's take a look at our card that gives us that. It is Strange Solution Acidic Ichor. 2 combat icons on commit. Uses 3 supplies. As an action, you can spend a supply to fight, attack with a base combat skill of 6, and you deal +2 damage for the attack. So we'll go ahead and sleeve that and get that set up. And then making a test easier for damage is good, but testless damage when we can get it is also welcome. So let's give Mandy some more of that by upgrading her Occult Lexicon to level 3. So we'll take a look at that. We gain an additional lore icon on commit, and then when we play a copy of Bloodright, we can either change each 2 on it to a 3, or shuffle it into your deck instead of discarding it. So that just opens up some more options there, and then the same forced about Bloodright, where when it enters play, you shuffle your bonded cards for 3 copies of it, 1 to your hand, 2 to your discard pile. Or 2 into your deck, rather. So we'll go ahead and give that a shuffle. And then Mandy's upgrades are all done. Now you're probably looking at this deck and you're wondering, Phoenix Knight, that looks like a really thin deck. Well, it sort of is. So the reason I do it this way, is because Mandy has Ancestral Knowledge in her deck. So what I do is, as part of setup, I've actually got to draw some skills to put under Ancestral Knowledge. So what I do as part of setup is I just have the skills put aside separately. I'll shuffle those up, put the skills underneath, and then once the skills are drawn for that, then I'll shuffle the rest into the deck. But anyway, minor rambling on that aside. We're all done with spending our experience, so let's move back up top for the tarot reading. Tarot deck is right here in shot, so let's go ahead and get right into this tarot reading. This will be our last part of today's video. So we'll give this a shuffle. And a cut. And there are 2 tarot cards for this scenario. So first up we find the World 21. If I end up with the same 2 tarot cards again, I might actually, let's just take a quick look at these and let's make sure they're not the same. And the Lover's 6. I think I'm going to shuffle these away, see if I can get something new. Because I've had the World 20, that'll be the second scenario in a row where I've had the World 21. I really want to try to mix up the tarot effects for each scenario. Alright, let's try this again. Hopefully we get something different. So first up we find the Lover's 6. Okay. Now we had this earlier, but we'll see how this works out. So the Lover's 6. When the game begins, each investigator searches their deck for an ally asset, adds it to their hand, then shuffles their deck on the good side. On the bad, when the game begins, each investigator searches their deck for an ally asset, removes it from the game, and shuffles their deck. On the bad side we find, or on the other card, the Star 17. Okay. Alright, so after an investigator reveals an Elder Sign token during a skill test, they may heal 1 damage or 1 horror on the good side. Flipping it to the bad, after an investigator reveals a tentacle token during a skill test, they must either take 1 damage or 1 horror. I think we're going to flip the star 18, or star 17, I should say, to its bad side. Mainly because Jacqueline will be able to duck tentacles very easily, and hopefully Mandy will be able to do a decent job at it as well. But anyway, so that means when the game begins, each investigator will be able to search their deck for an ally and add it to their hand. But on Tentacle, we either take 1 damage or 1 horror. But anyway, that will do it for this first round of upgrades in the tarot reading. Sunday we'll continue the fall campaign as we return to At Death's Doorstep. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.